What's going on, Dolphins? It is your boy Dillon, and I got a video today that's going to be a little bit of state of the NFL and what's going on. And it's mostly in regard to the coronavirus and how that's the updates on that and how it's affecting the NFL. Real quick though, before I do that, I do want to also let you know there have been some recent reports on how it's affecting college football as well. And so there's this report there. It was reported by multiple sources, but this one's from Yahoo Sports. Kansas State shuts down football workouts after positive COVID-19 tests, and LSU reportedly has at least 30. Kansas State has paused all workouts for football players as positive COVID-19 tests have increased at the university. The school announced Saturday that as of June 19th, 14 of the 130 athletes tested have tested positive. As a result, the school has paused football workouts for a period of 14 days. The athletes who tested positive are being medically managed according to current local, state, national, and CDC guidelines, which begins the self-isolation for 10 days and until the patient is without fever for 72 hours without medication, whichever takes longer, the school said. The health and well-being of our student athletes will always be our top priority. Well, if that's the case, then you could probably just shut down the program altogether and not risk putting them in these situations to begin with. That might be a good solution if that was really your priority, but okay, whatever. K-State Athletic Director Gene Taylor said, following the most recent test results, we felt like temporarily pausing all football workouts and access to our facilities was the best decision for everyone. We continue to take the situation very seriously and want to do everything we can to get back to workouts soon. Okay, but guess what's going to happen when you go back to workouts? You're gonna get it again. It's going to happen again. So, okay, whatever. The updated figure of 14 is a jump from the number Kansas State reported on Wednesday, which was 8. The school has not specified which sports the athletes who have tested positive play. Kansas State is the second program to halt its off-season workouts due to the positive COVID-19 tests. Houston, after opting not to test its players upon their return to campus, shut down workouts after 6 players tested positive last week. And then a report that at least 30 LSU players are in quarantine. So not necessarily have it, but are in quarantine. LSU, the defending national champions, are also dealing with a significant number of positive tests. According to Sports Illustrated, the outlet reported Saturday that at least 30 LSU players are in isolation because they either tested positive or were in contact with someone who tested positive. The Athletic is reporting that the number of positive tests for LSU football players so far is in the teens, while SI is reporting that no one affiliated with LSU football has been hospitalized and very few have experienced effects beyond mild symptoms. The influx of positive tests is being attributed to players frequenting a string of nightclubs in Baton Rouge. A Louisiana Department of Health recently announced that more than 100 recent patrons of Tigerland have tested positive. So, I mean, but this is going to continue, of course, because they're not shutting anything down. They're just letting things continue to reopen. Too many people are not taking it seriously, etc., etc., etc. So, as I've said, this is going to continue getting worse. And real quick, several schools dealing with positive tests. Saturday's news at Kansas State and LSU comes on the heels of 28 positive tests within the Clemson Athletic Department being reported on Friday. Of those 28 positive tests were 23 football players. Elsewhere, Texas announced Thursday that it had 13 football players test positive, 10 others in self-quarantine, and 4 others test positive for the COVID-19 antibody. All 13 are self-isolating through contact tracing. 10 more football student athletes are in self-quarantine, all of whom are asymptomatic at this time, a University of Texas statement said. A large number of schools across the country brought their football players back to campus in recent weeks. And so, but think about, what are you going to do when, it gets to, like, playing games and stuff? Like, if you got guys that are in quarantine, and especially if they're key guys, well, I mean, that's just going to totally... practices, though, they're going to have to miss practices. Like, it just throws everything into a complete fucking tailspin of just disaster after disaster. All right, so let's transition a little bit more to the NFL because there's a couple things from there related to this. So real quick, the NFLPA sent out to players across the league that they should stop doing joint workouts. Union medical director has advised against players training together because of COVID-19. So they just put out a memo that players should stop, doing their own workouts together, which obviously makes sense, but it's kind of late for that at this point because it's already spreading. All right, but let's get into this real quick. This article from NFL.com, I believe it is. Anyway, so the NFLPA advises players to stop practicing together after increase in coronavirus cases. NFLPA Medical Director Tom Mayer released a message to players on Saturday urging them to not take part in group workouts this offseason prior to the start of training camp. This comes in response to an increase in COVID-19 infections across the league. This week in particular, there was a noticeable uptick in cases to players, which is what seems to be sparking this response by the NFLPA. It was revealed earlier in the week that a number of Cowboys and Texans players were diagnosed with the coronavirus. Along with those players, a member of the 49ers who was working out in Nashville with a group of his teammates reportedly tested positive for COVID-19. The entire group, which consists of all the 49ers quarterbacks, including starter Jimmy Garoppolo, is now getting tested and awaiting the results. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers also released a statement on Saturday confirming that there have been individuals who have tested positive for COVID-19 at their Advent Health Training Center. Individuals who may have been exposed have already been told by the team to quarantine for 14 days. So, I mean, look, it's popping up all over the place. Because of the increase in positive tests, the NFLPA sent out this memo to players urging them to press pause on any group workouts. But I mean, if they keep opening the facilities, though, that's definitely not going to stop this. In fact, that's going to exacerbate the situation and make it worse. But here's the memo. To all players, please be advised that it is our consensus medical opinion that in light of the increase in COVID-19 cases in certain states, that no players, which it's over, I think it was up to like 27 states the last time I saw now. I could be wrong. It was at least 22, but I think it was 27. Anyway, somewhere in there. Let's see. That no players should be engaged in practicing together in private workouts. And look, man, I can almost guarantee, though, that there will be some guys that do because they think that they'll be fine or whatever. Our goal is to have all players and your families as healthy as possible in the coming months. We are working on the best mitigation procedures at team facilities for both training camps and the upcoming season and believe that it is in the best interest of all players that we advise against any voluntary joint practices before training camp commences. But I mean, like, what do they think is going to happen when training camp does commence? It's going to explode, right? So instead of being like, groups of maybe like 3 to 10 guys, you're going to have, the entire fucking team and coaching staff and shit in training camp. So it'll just be a lot worse. Anyway, the typical off-season program was thrown out the window due to the pandemic as teams held virtual seasons or sessions after being barred from holding traditional OTAs or minicamp. It was only just recently that coaches were even able to re-enter team facilities. As it relates to this recommendation by the NFLPA, that could further keep the rust on players as they try to prepare for the 2020 regular season. According to Pro Football Talk, Cardinals quarterback Kyler Murray arranged a 4-day workout session with 20 of his teammates down in Dallas beginning on Sunday. Because of this latest note to the players, it's unclear if that workout or any like it across the league will still occur. And it shouldn't, but we'll see. Dr. Anthony Fauci, the director of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, told CNN on Thursday that he is still not 100% sure that football games will be able to play this year without the implementation of a bubble, which is what the NBA is currently planning to implement at Walt Disney World. I mean, I don't see that as being logistically possible. I could be wrong, but I personally, I can, like, and I'm by no means an expert on like any of the things that, and any of the jobs related to this and, security and, I'm not a doctor and, blah, blah, blah. But, I do consider myself a pretty reasonably intelligent and logical person. And from my perspective, I don't see how that would be logistically possible, even if, so the concept of a bubble is they would have like one location where they just all play and practice and stuff like that. From my understanding of it, like they would literally just isolate the entire league in one place. But I don't see how that could work. and there were reports of maybe, wanting to do that before that I had read. So I don't know. It doesn't seem feasible to me, but we'll see. Dr. Anthony Fauci's words carry important weight as he has served our country with expert guidance and moral clarity through many crises. The NFLPA medical director responded in a statement. As we have communicated to our players throughout the spring, we know there are significant challenges to the operation of football during a global pandemic. So far, we have been guided and made decisions based on the best available science and current state of infections and hospitalizations. I mean, just with that, because, he might believe that because it might be based off of the information that he's getting from, like, state and local governments and from, like, the current administration and stuff like that. But if they are naively following that advice, then they are going to, find out the hard way what, the consequences of that are. Anyway, so let's see. Our joint task force is comprised of experts in multiple areas who are working every day with health and safety in mind. In addition to stringent protocols and workplace safety, we continue to reinforce the importance of widely available testing. It is not just a key to restarting football, but also a matter of public health. While the information we currently have indicates it will not be an issue in the near future, okay, we all agree that ethically we cannot, as a non-essential business, take resources away from our fellow Americans. Also, their plan, and just as a quick update too, they plan to test people every 3 days, according to the last reports that I saw. So my initial reporting on it was that they were going to test people 3 times a week, but their plan is every 3 days. That's a disaster. If they think that's adequate testing, it's already proving not to be, because it's already starting to spread amongst the ranks in the NFL. So, okay, if you think that's going to be not a problem, not an issue, even in the near future, you're foolish. You're naive to think that. We will continue to update you as we move forward through the summer. Prior to these recent player diagnoses, the NFL had already been discussing a shortened preseason to give players more ramp-up time for the regular season. The league has also been looking into the possibility of expanding practice squads to help give teams more depth in the event a player became infected. Wow, dude. That's just gross, though. Because, then they're putting even more people in harm's way. They're saying just so that way they can get business on as usual. So then they're just saying, okay, well, our solution is let's throw more bodies in there, more humans, okay, so that way they can cycle guys in and out, so that way more guys have a chance of getting infected and possibly dying, so that way we can keep business going. That's just gross. As it relates to the regular season, the NFL appears to be full steam ahead with trying to start on time, but the league has built in a number of contingency plans in the event that things need to be shortened. But what? Their contingency plans to this point have been a shortened preseason, and getting rid of mini camps. That's pretty much it. What I haven't personally heard of any real other substantive contingency plans. And everything that I've heard is that they're planning to start the season on time with full stadiums. So okay, well, we'll see where this leads. If it keeps going down the current projected path, it's going to be a disaster. If they shut everything down sooner rather than later, then they can potentially prevent that. My guess is they won't, because all they care about is business, 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 money, money, money. So we'll see. All right, guys, with that, I'm going to get up out of here. I hope you guys appreciate my perspective. If you do, make sure you hit the subscribe button, make sure you hit the like button, make sure you hit the bell if you want to get the alerts. Share my channel and videos with your friends and family. Leave your questions, comments, and concerns down in the comment section. And of course, as always, make sure you follow me on Twitter at Dillon Tartaro. And with that, I am out. I'll see y'all soon. Fins up.